Welcome to Module 3 for ME BIOM 531 Materials Engineering class. This module is divided into two sub-modules and it will take about 2 weeks to finish Module 3. Module 3.1 will be learning about ceramics. What are ceramics? What are different types of ceramics? What are different properties of ceramics? What are the differences between ceramics and other materials such as polymers and metals and things like that? What makes them unique for the properties that they have? We'll also be talking about processing of ceramics. One of the goals is to understand how we can use these ceramics and make usable devices out of these ceramics. So we'll learn a lot about different types of techniques that can be used for processing of ceramics. We'll also be talking about characterization of ceramics, how we can characterize ceramics, whether it's chemical composition, whether it's thermal properties or electrical properties. We'll look at different types of techniques which are used. And the goal is to understand how these techniques can be implemented so that we can practically use these materials for useful applications. There will be one homework for this sub-module and it's going to be due in 1 week. You'll also have a research article that you will be required to read and write a 1-page critique and submit that also online via RAMCT, and the deadline for that is also 1 week. Within 1 week you'll have to submit that to me. Module 3.2 will be learning about polymers, and I know everybody has learned about polymers at some point throughout their undergraduate degree. We'll be talking a lot about how these polymers are made, what are the unique properties of polymers. For example, what are thermosetting thermoplastic polymers, and the goal is to understand where which polymer can be used. For what application thermosetting polymers are useful, for what applications thermoplastic polymers are useful. We'll also be talking a lot about processing of polymers, how we can process these polymers. Obviously, polymers are a very unique class of materials because when you heat them, they melt, as we all know, and then they have some changes in their properties that happen, which doesn't happen with metals and ceramics. And that's the reason why we need to understand exactly how the processing of these polymers is going to work. And the goal is to sort of understand exactly what type of conditions are necessary so that we do not degrade that polymer but make something which is useful from that polymer. We'll also be talking a lot about polymer characterization. One of the most important property of polymer is the molecular weight, because you can have the same chemical structure but you can have different molecular weights, and why that's important and how that can be controlled and how that can be actually determined using some of the techniques, and that's what we'll be talking about. We'll be also talking about how to find out or how to determine the chemical properties of polymers, how to find out the degradation characteristic of polymers, which are important because eventually we are going to use these polymers for applications which require them to be either reused, or we can actually reuse these polymers and make different structures and devices from that. This module also has one homework which will be due in 1 week. There's also going to be a journal article that we will be reviewing and writing a 1-page critique, and that's also due in 1 week. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me during office hours. Thank you.